We usually say that anywhere from 40 to 60,000, and that's depending on if you're going to go production welding. You can do different variants of it. So a lot of the skill set and things like that is really dependent on the actual salary starting base. And you can still make anywhere from 25 to 35 an hour locally. For our last 5-year job placement rate, we've been about 94%. And it fluctuates with the industry and stuff like that. We try to work with production, we try to work with stainless, we try to work with pipelining. There's different industries people can go into. If somebody just wants to weld pipe, they can do that. If they want to get into like maintenance, repairs, things like that, there's different processes and types of welding they can actually get into. So skills-wise, knowledge in the field is the number one. You have to know the background of welding, you have to know how metal works, the placement of welds. Blueprints is a really big thing because you have to know where the welds are going to be. 2, you have to know the processes. You can't just be really set in one welding process. You need to be well-rounded in all. And I always say that pride in your work. That's really a dying thing that's coming now, is working with your hands and taking pride in your work. So if you put all that together, you can really have really big success in this field. They're going to start you out on the bottom end, but that gets you more experience because what they're trying to do is they're trying to learn your skill set and where to actually place you. You could be a structural welder, you could get into stainless, you can get Inconels, Hastelloids, different types of exotic metals, and that's where it steps you apart from everybody else because a lot of people will stay with just carbon, but once you start adding in all the exotics, then you can get into pipeline, you can get into sanitary stainless welding. So like sanitary would be like Kellogg's and places like that food plants. That's where you get into really big money because these are really precise welding. So I always tell everybody out here in the shop, this is the easiest welding you'll ever do. They have a 10 by 10 booth, air conditioning, heat. It's not going to be like that in the field. Some people get into production, it's hot buildings. Some people get out in the field. Like right now outside it's cold and wind's blowing and everything. Some of these places don't have walls on the buildings you're working on. You have to be different. You have to be able to want to get your hands dirty. You have to be able to not be scared of heights. You have to be not scared of crawling down in a vessel and having air pumped in for your fresh air. Those are big things that you have to have that edge. You have to be able to walk across I-beam 60, 80 foot off the ground. Things like that you have to be able to do, and that's where you break away from everybody else in that concept. I always say that welding's the blue collar, but you still have to have a sense of professionalism. Wherever you go, whoever you talk to, be able to actually talk to somebody. We really try to be outspoken with one another. As far as the program, we're trying to put in more real world industry. A lot of things like setting up in a booth, that's fine, teaching them how to weld, the different processes, positions, they have to know that stuff. But we have to introduce more real world stuff. So like boiler tube rags and confined spaces, you have to introduce that to them because once they get in the field, if they've never seen it, it's like a whole new world starting over. So we're really trying to push stuff like that out to them so they can actually get experience, and when they get out in the field, they're ready.
State dual enrollment grant allows juniors and seniors to get 5 free classes of college credit while they're still in high school. And then for classes 6 through 10, they can get $100 per credit hour to put towards the cost of their tuition. To take 5 free classes while they're still in high school, that's the equivalent of 1 full-time college semester. So they can get done with college that much sooner if they start while they're in high school. Students that have a certificate are much more prepared to enter the workforce, but they have additional skills and sometimes even additional industry certifications depending on the academic certificate that they've pursued. And it also allows students to go directly into an AAS program here as well. The dual enrollment grant is for Tennessee residents, so that's the only initial requirement, is that you have to live in the state of Tennessee. And then after your first semester as a dual enrollment student, you have to maintain a 2.0 college GPA to continue getting the grant.